All right, welcome everybody back, Ode community. We got another runner here that's running Ode to Laz. Matt, how are you doing this morning?
I'm well. I'm sweaty. I just got done with a run, and I don't stop sweating for like an hour afterwards. So I'll sweat through this entire conversation, I'm sure.
Or are you just nervous?
Yes, I'm very nervous talking to you, Zach. That's actually what it is.
So yeah, you live in Georgia, right? Is it pretty hot and humid down there right now?
It is, which is advantageous for showing up for hot races because I am pretty used to it.
Yeah, me and Sarah were just down there for a race in May, and we got a little break in the weather. It was like perfect weekend weather for our race. So I was glad coming from the north we didn't get like 85 degrees and 100% humidity.
You did Cruel Jewel?
Yeah, I did Cruel Jewel with Sarah. Yep.
How'd it go?
It was good. Yeah, I hit my plan and finished top 10. So it was a good day.
Nice job, dude. Good job.
Yeah. Have you ever been out to Cruel Jewel?
I have not, but I've heard a lot about it, and I know it's really hard.
Been out to the area, been on the mountains?
Yeah, but just not that race.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not sure how much of the Ode community, knows who you are, but how did you get interested in Ode? Why did you sign up? Maybe some background.
It's definitely Sarah's fault, 100%. I set up an interview with Amelia Boone and Maggie after they left the last Biggs Backyard. And I was like, let's do a podcast because I know Amelia a long time. And they were like, we have to get Sarah on here too. Sarah did really well and she's a lot of fun. So the three of us interviewed and I thought Sarah was hilarious. And Sarah was like, well, you have to talk to Tad about, Ode to Laz. And so then I interviewed him and then they just sort of convinced me. So that's how that happened.
You feel like you're getting in too deep, too fast?
I feel like, now I'm like super excited about it. It's all I think about, really. But no, it's definitely Sarah's the one who, because I wouldn't have even heard about it. I mean, maybe I would have, but yeah, once it kind of got on my radar, and then, it's funny because I actually after she was on the show, I had her on, just her, and we ended up just having a lot of laughs because oh, sorry, I'm blanking on her husband's name now.
Andrew,
because Andrew ended up being a part of it. Like she said, he was like doing the fucking dishes in the background or something, and I was like, what is your husband doing? And then he ended up coming on, and they're quite the pair. So anyway, so now we're all friends, and yeah, I'm excited.
Now you have experience with long races, maybe not ultra running, but long OCR events, right?
So yeah, so I've been doing obstacle racing. That's my job. I cover the world of obstacle racing. My company is called Obstacle Racing Media, and my first ultra was actually all the way back in 2013. I did my first 50K at this great race called Fuego y Agua, which I recommend to anybody. It's on the Isle of Ometepe in Nicaragua. It's amazing. And I've gone kind of in and out of ultra since then, just because I get bored doing obstacle races all the time. But the last really long thing I did was I did this really stupid FKT, which was 64 miles on this thing called the Silver Comet Trail, which is just concrete and the worst possible idea. But I did it and I'm thrilled, and I got my FKT, and because no one else has been dumb enough to do it. So that's the most recent. That was last December. That's my longest recent sort of ultra experience.
Okay, cool. Are you bringing anybody up to help you with this race since it's such like a long format, or are you coming by yourself?
Yeah, I really, I knew that if I wanted to do anything serious, I'm going to need a crew. And so I started reaching out to a lot of people, knowing that a lot of them would say yes. But then when it comes down to it, you know, they got to travel and everything. They don't necessarily mean it, you know. But my buddy Luke, who's a great trail runner and ultra runner, he's like, I'm all in that. And so he's like my number one guy. And then my friend Mike Stefano is coming. And there might be some other people that are like, yeah, I may be able to, we'll see. But as long as I have at least that one solid guy, I'm super happy because he knows what he's doing and he knows his job is to not let me quit. So that's the most important thing.
Have you been doing any research or like strategy prep for like this different, you know, style format or anything?
If you followed my my Instagram in the last couple of days, I posted that if there is any YouTube coverage of any last man standing race, I have been watching them. Not all of them are good, but like last or 2 nights ago, I started watching this Finnish one, and it wasn't even that good. But I just like, I'm gonna watch it, and then it ended. It's really weird. It ended like 20 minutes in or 30 minutes in, and it was like they showed the winner, and then it was like, well, here's some extra footage, and then it was just random shots, and so I didn't finish that part. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what is any of that going to do? I mean, most it's like, it's not like it's going to teach you anything. It's more just sort of inspiration, I think, more than anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of come into this, they're not used to the stopping every hour, right? So it's kind of like they don't know how to like handle it per se, right? It's kind of like this new thing like, oh, I actually have to like stop and wait, right? So yeah, I just watch this stuff might, you know, kind of trigger something. Oh, that's a good idea. Or, this is a bad idea.
Right.
I guess, you know, is there anything you're doing like different in training from like, I mean, you come from OCR, Ultra, like, is there anything you do, you're doing different for Ode, or you just kind of do the same training, you know, day after day, week after week, no matter what it is?
Well, the thing that's different is in the past, my training has always been just kind of by myself and just kind of long, slow miles, which, you know, will get you so far. You know what I mean? Like I did, you know, we don't have time today to go into it, but I did DNF a lot of races before I started actually finishing them. And I'm glad I did. And there's great lessons in all those. But I also about every, you know, year and a half, 2 years would get injured and have to go to PT. And so this time around, after I got my PT straightened out, my PT, this person I found, is also a running coach. And so we've been working together, and now it's strength conditioning. So it's, you know, I go in twice a week. And, you know, I was the person that, like, during PT, they give you all these exercises, and of course I never fucking do them. And so, you know, she was giving me stuff to do between our visits. And I said, listen, why don't I just pay to see you twice a week? And that's the only way I know I'll do the work. I said, in a best case scenario, I'll get tired of paying you twice a week and I'll do it myself. But that didn't happen. So I have, you know, I have my running plan, plus I'm stronger than I've ever been. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, like, I've never done that. I've just never done that. Like, I've never lifted weight or squatted or done anything.
Okay.
I've just always just run like long, slow miles, which again, like, gets you so far. And I know that's what a lot of people do, but it's definitely building my confidence.
Okay. So you never built any like strength training regimen when you did OCR or things like that? You would just do long base miles?
I like running. What can I tell you? I mean, I like, for obstacle racing, it's not ideal. I can tell you that. And, you know, I fail obstacles and I kind of don't care. Like, obstacle racing at this point is not a competitive race for me. It's a fun event, you know, like I go out, I go with my friends, you know, I'm working usually part of the day. So I film the elites and then I go around the course. Like, very rarely do I have an A race, basically. And, so this is my big, you know, last year I did a 50K in the fall, and that was my A race. And I was coming back from injury, and I still took that way too slow. So this time around, like, this is it, man. Like, this is, you know, I told my guy, like, it doesn't matter what I tell you, like there is no tomorrow kind of thing. Like for my FKT, you know, it messed me up. Like I came out with an Achilles issue, a QL issue, and it's like, it was like a week after, and I still, like my Achilles still hurt. I was like, why can't I walk normal? And someone's like, didn't you just spend 14 hours on concrete? I was like, oh yeah, that's probably why. So like, it was really stupid. But like there is no, like, there's times we pull out of races because I want to save it for another day. And this has got to be a race where that doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter. There's no other day. Like, this is it. This is it. Like, if I'm fucked up afterwards and I regret it, that's fine. But I want to leave it all out there. I don't want to have any regrets. And I've never felt that strongly about a race before. I really haven't.
Wow. Okay. Well, so you definitely, like, mentally you're prepared. It sounds like. I mean, you're into this. There's nothing after it. Sounds like what you've been going for a whole, you know, year, 9 months or whatever now.
Yeah, I'm because I've DNF'd a lot and because I have done some hard things, like I feel like I am mentally ready, like more than like the average person. But then I just watched what those guys did in England. And I'm like, well, I know I'm not going 3 days my first time out. That's not fucking happening. So, someone, points out, guy goes 37 hours, comes in third, right? 2 days behind everyone else. And it's like 37 hours could win some backyard. And none of that matters. You know, if you play fantasy football and you score 115 points and you would have beaten everybody else that week, but you lost to the guy that had 120. That's the way I look at it. Like, you got to go with. And then I interviewed, what's his name? The guy that had just won Capital Backyard.
Okay. Yep.
And he was like, oh yeah, you got a really hard one. There's really like 7-8 top guys going to that. I'm like, don't tell me that. Trying to have a shot here.
Yeah, you picked the hard one apparently then, I guess. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. You never know, right? I mean, it could be raining all day or it could be crazy hot, like, 90 degrees in Michigan or something.
I know, but Sarah made it seem like, oh, come to our little backyard thing in Michigan. And now it's like a lot of, like, I mean, supposedly a lot of good people are coming.
So have you scoped out the competition or anything?
Well, here's the thing. Here's why I know I got the right coach. I got the right crew. My friend Brett, Luke. When I saw that Brett was going to be there, and he's a 2-time Barkley guy, and I messaged him, and I saw that, and I was like, I'm really nervous. That guy's probably a beast. And he was like, fuck that guy, is a has-been. And I was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to say to me. Like, get my mind right. Like, don't fear anybody. So yeah, it's like, Sarah says it all the time. It's like, who's going to have it that day or who's going to have it those 2 days? And I know there's so much out of my control. I know that, but nothing's going to replace actually doing it. And so it's just going to be what it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel like is there some strength that you have that you feel like you beat everybody else out? Like your strength is going to win out versus everybody else?
Well, like I said, I've passed through the needle of like getting to that point of quitting. Like first I had to quit a lot. And then when I passed through that, but then it's a matter of the physical part, which I'm not the most talented at, right? Like I know there's people, who've got, 30 races on their ultra sign up. So I'm not as physically strong as those people. So I have to hope that mentally I'm stronger and that they have a bad day. That's really how it's got to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So what's the longest you've run, I guess, at either one race continuously type of thing to date so far then?
So World's Toughest Mudder, which is the 24-hour version, it's a 24-hour 5-mile loop thing in obstacle racing that we have. It's like one of the biggest races we have, right? So this guy Ryan Atkins always wins it. Ryan should absolutely do one of these. I think he would do super well. Like he's physically like a cyborg. I can't believe I just said cyborg. He's physically like a machine, and he's mentally tough. So I think he would do great at this. But anyway, so that's a 24-hour race, which I DNF'd in 2014, and then in 2016 I finished. So, but you could stop a long time. I could stop every you know, every loop you come in, you get food. I mean, it's not that I ever stopped that long, but I certainly didn't sleep. And I kept moving, but, you know, a lot slower than we're going to have to move. You know, I was like zombie walking by the end of it. You know, you're wearing a wetsuit, you go in and out of water. It's really hard. So that's 24 plus hours. And then I did this thing called a death race. I made it about 28 hours in that one year.
Okay.
That's a whole nother thing. But I don't even really like, I think it doing like going through the night, if you've done that at least once, you've got, I think, an advantage over someone who never has. Because if you've never done it, it's a very weird thing. Like the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. sort of hours are sort of that really hard. Once you kind of pass through that, you've done something, you know?
Yeah, actually, somebody had said something to me about like all the fast runners never run late into the night because they're done so early, right? So it's like they don't have an advantage here because they don't know what it's like to run at 3 a.m.
Right, exactly. So, but that's the thing is like someone that's in unbelievable shape that wants to, you know, hammer down, you know, like 40 to 45-minute laps or whatever, and they could probably do that for a really long time because they've got the fitness for it. But will their body eventually break down, or will they? I mean, it happens all the time, right?
Yeah. Okay. Any special nutrition stuff you're going with? Gear selections you're preparing for, I guess?
I mean, I think that's the other thing that doing this stuff, that's the only advantage you have is that when you're new, you have so many questions. What do I eat? What do I wear? And, you know, we had a friend who did her first 50 miler who was asking us questions like 3 months into it. And I said, I can tell you now, every question can be answered. Do it in training and see how it goes. Right. Yeah. Whether it's pack or nutrition or food or shoes, like the answer to everything is go run with it in practice and see how it goes. Right. So, I'll have a ton of tailwind and a ton of PB&J. And, you know, I think I'll bring some other stuff, but nothing too crazy or fancy. I'm a big fan of Hoka's. I'll be wearing my Hoka's. The Speed Goat is I feel like the best shoe ever made. I don't know. What do you run in?
Nike. I do the Wild Horse. The Nike Wild Horse Trail is what I do.
Are you sponsored by Nike? Are you sponsored by Nike?
No. I wish.
I don't know anybody who wears Nike that isn't sponsored by Nike.
Oh, I love Wild Horse, actually. It's I feel like it's enough protection. And I kind of like it's high, like it's a higher shoe, like not the sole, but the like around your ankle. So it's almost kind of like you know, has like a built-in gaiter, like it has like almost like a built-in gaiter style. So I like it because it's high like that. Is that bad? Are they bad shoes?
No, I like you rarely, you know what I mean? You rarely meet a you know, a lot of Ultra fans out there, you know, a lot of Hoka fans out there. You just don't meet a lot of Nike guys. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, except the road shoes, right? So everybody wears their road shoes, even if you're not sponsored by them. You know, the pros are wearing them and they're sponsored by somebody else these days.
Right.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're well prepared. It sounds like you're willing to go the distance. So I wish you well. We'll just finish off with a couple lightning questions, if that's cool.
Okay. Hang on a second. Garbage guy just showed up. It might be loud for a second. It's actually the recycle guy. Like the garbage in our neighborhood, like, they stopped collecting the recycling like every other week, and then now it's coming on random days. Like, what's today, Wednesday?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Friday. I don't know what's going on.
So you have to leave it out every night then?
I just keep, where they don't take it, I just leave it until they come get it. All right, go ahead.
All right, Ray, so what's your favorite band?
My favorite band?
Yeah.
The Beatles?
All right.
Is that too obvious?
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Favorite ice cream flavor? I'm a big fan of coffee ice cream. I'm a big fan of French vanilla ice cream. Those are my two favorites.
All right. Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids?
Oh, Swedish Fish all day, dude.
Favorite donut?
Favorite donut? You know, I'm famous for drinking Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I don't eat a lot of donuts, but I'm going to say if I had to grab one, I would grab a strawberry. Filled.
All right. Filled. Okay. There you go. And then Little Debbie or Mr. Kipling's?
Wait a minute. Little Debbie or what?
Mr. Kipling's.
Is that a Midwest thing?
Honestly, I think it's a UK thing.
I'm going to go with, I guess you've got some UK runners you're interviewing. I'll go with Little Debbie.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Awesome. Well, I'll let you get back to your day. We appreciate your time. And we'll see you out at Ode.
Am I allowed to ask you anything?
Yeah, go ahead. I got time. What do you want to know?
Did you run it last year?
So I didn't run it last year. I ran it the year before, the first year, as a training day. I ran 50K and then called it. But that was the plan all along.
What a weasel.
So
Let's hope there's... Go ahead.
I had a bigger race I was training for, right? You were saying, right? Like, so it was a prep race for me. And I know Tad, so I was helping him run it his first year kind of thing too.
Got it. Do people confuse you with the other Zach Miller?
Yeah, I get that a lot. Actually, funnily, I get a lot of emails asking me to come to their races for the other Zach Miller. I won't tell you what they offer me, but I get some pretty good offers. I'm always interested, and I wonder how it's my personal email address too. And it's like, I don't know how you get it. I just
do you just forward them to him? Are you friendly with him?
I actually don't even think I know who he is, right? But like, I don't know. I'm not friends with him. Like, I've never talked to the guy before. I don't know what his email address is, and I just email back and be like, hey, like, you got the wrong Zach Miller. I mean,
dude, you should say yes. You should say yes and show up, because A, they might not even know what he looks like, and B, if they say you're not Zach Miller, you whip out your ID and go, yes, I am. You emailed me. Like, what's the problem?
No, actually, this funny because
they would be so embarrassed. They'd be like, all right, we can't not let this guy race.
Oh, well, I mean, they're offering more than just race entry fees, which is crazy to me. But all my friends tell me the exact same thing. Dude, just go out there and take it. And I'm like, well, like, I don't know. I kind of feel bad. I'll come in like, mid-pack, and this guy's supposed to be leading the race the whole time. They paid for this guy to come finish pack. So,
yeah, because when I saw your name, I was like, oh, is that? And it's like, oh, it's a different Zach Miller. I'm like, oh, okay, then I won't worry as much. But real quick, I know that so I know Brett dropped out of Capital. Is he still coming to Ode?
The last word that I saw was he was out. I think it was up. I think the entrance list was updated. Yeah, I think he dropped out.
All right, one less guy we have to beat.
So yeah, it should be a good race. I mean, it's still stacked. I mean, I honestly think the women's field, I mean, it's, the women coming are amazing. I mean, there's obviously Sarah, there's multiple time Hard Rock winner. There is, I mean, there's just the women on the list are incredible.